Back, everyone. We're going to check in on the conversation over on Twitter. So to remind everyone, we wanted to know what has you the most excited about the 2015 NALCS and why. And here are a few of our favorites. At Sir Eminon Lowell says, for me, I'm extremely excited to see what impact the new Dragon buff and Baron buff will have on strategic diversity. Well, strategic diversity, this is your domain, Irene. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit already.
And we just saw some of the impact of Baron. You know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's really bad.
Yeah, not always the best decision.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah, just stay away from Baron.
Hey, you can't fight him, just end the game.
Exactly. Our next tweet comes from @Schwagen, and he tweets, the addition of coaches to the LCS is going to be a total game changer. Better picks and strategies equals better competition.
And I got to say, we talked about it at the very beginning. TSM definitely did a good job. Locodoco got them a really good comp. C9's not excited about, but that's okay. And we had pretty reasonable, comps here in this game. So 3 for 4 so far with the coaches.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that, too. Like, I remember I brought up the point where it was like TSM, Locodoco is going to give them that extra edge. They're going to have more out of the change of having a coach there. Because Elimination, he still has his book. Charlie may give a little bit of input. But I feel like Locodoco just gives them a lot more for more bang for their buck with the coach.
Sure.
And we'll continue to see which teams benefit more or less from having the coaches on stage with them. Our final tweet comes from @Puri-Kura Senpai. Wider champion pools, new faces, all the jungle changes. What's not to be hyped about?
It's true. A lot of new stuff going on. It's going to be people figuring it out as the season goes on. We're going to see more and more crisp things, and probably something that none of us thought was going to happen. It's like, oh, that's the new thing. And whatever it ends up being, it'll be cool.
There's going to be some pretty uncrisp things, too.
Sure. Well, it's going to start uncrisp for sure.
Some pretty doughy things in there that don't really work.
All right, I like that. No, I mean, we were looking to see how things, pan out, if you will, to continue the baking metaphors. But I want to congratulate all of our winners. Please enjoy your new challenger, Ari skins. And if you're looking to join the conversation, hit us up @LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS. But now let's turn our attention back to the next match, Winterfox versus Gravity. Winterfox, formerly Evil Geniuses, ended their year with an 8-game winning streak to pull themselves up from 8th to 7th place. The two up-and-coming stars, Pobelter and Altec, are back, as well as Helios, who's brought along his brother Avalon to take over the top lane. And rounding out the roster is Imagine, who is slated to take over as support. However, due to visa complications, we do have some substitutions, one which reunites Altec with his bottom lane partner from Cloud9 Tempest, Glebe. And joining him, will be Shorter Ace and Flares.
Yeah, so this is kind of the interesting thing. You're about to say it. They're really not well practiced together right now. Not only the fact that it's just a new roster in general, but now, of course, they've got 3 subs coming in. And I think it's going to be very, very difficult for these guys. Now, first of all, there's so many things that change just based on the subs. So number one, the team actually plays in Korean. They have a Korean coach. They've got 4 players fluent in Korean, and then like Altec is kind of on his own island. Like hopefully Pobelter translates for him, which is already going to be weird for him just as a player. I think he's going to underperform this season. But then in this case, with the subs, Glebe had a really rough tournament last time we saw him at the expansion tournament when he played with Fusion. And you've got some players who are pretty good, but like you're just throwing a bunch of solo queue stars together, and we saw that with CLG at the end of last split. They didn't win any games.
Yeah, I think Korean is going to be the actual language of the team here, and Altec's going to be doing his thing on 80 carry, sitting in the back, throwing out whatever he can. And I don't know how much he actually contributes to the conversation and helps shot call. I believe that a lot of that was, Crepo and Helios, and now pretty much just Helios with some input between whoever else is on the team. So right now, today, who's going to be calling it? It's English. Who's going to be calling this? This might be Pobelter.
Now,
more so than anybody else.
One shining light, though, for Winterfox might be the fact, though, that their subs do have experience against the Gravity players specifically. So you have to imagine that some familiarity with the opponents, at least, as opposed to coming into the LCS as a substitute blind and playing against someone that you haven't gone up against in the team scenario, might be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, Shorter Race was on Final 5. They're at the expansion tournament. They played against Curse Academy, now Gravity. Like, sure, you've got these things, people have seen each other, but at the end of the day, you've actually got an entirely together roster who's on a hot streak qualifying for the LCS, looking pretty good overall. In fact, my favorite of the new teams, I think Gravity is the strongest of all these guys. I got it wrong in the C9 TSM prediction, but I don't see how Winterfox is supposed to win this game.
Yeah, and also the fact that Curse Academy, even before expansion tournament, they didn't have Haunter in the top lane. Yeah. I think he's a really great addition in that top lane and really kind of solidifies them with a very consistent top laner who's going to deliver constantly. And then they have people like Keen, who's like, Hecarim just got buffed.
Well, let's
play around with that.
Let's take a look at who we have in the other corner of the rift, which is Gravity. Arguably looked the best of the new teams to join the league, but they have been adjusting to several big transitions in the offseason. The team was split from their sister squad, Curse, and in doing so, they lost their support staff, had to move into a new gaming house, as well as adjust to a new owner.
Yeah, and I think that St. Vicious, though, is going to be the rock to hold everybody together. And the fact that it is a new patch, St. Vicious has always had like jungle tier lists. He's okay with bringing new things out and trying them. And he's always kind of makes things mainstream. I want to put it that way. Like, he's an innovator, but everybody kind of picks up and be like, oh, yeah, that's what the meta should be. And St. Vicious really pioneers that.
Yeah, I think St. Vicious definitely deserves more of a legacy than Missing Smite sometimes.
Yes.
He's one of the biggest junglers in North America. He's had probably, I would say, the biggest impact in overall North American jungling. Just when you count the fact that he's played since Season 1, right? Media's had a lot to do in the last 2 seasons, but Saint's been molding that since forever, basically. So I think Saint's got a lot of weight on his shoulders there, and I think he's going to do well in this one. He'll thrive. Cop is the other guy I want to talk about, because you talked about Hanser joining the lineup, but Cop also joined this lineup, and he was really one of the biggest driving forces that got Curse Academy, now Gravity, where they are. I think was an underappreciated AD carry. Okay, a little bit on the safe side, but still always put up very good, consistent numbers, which is the number one role, like the number one goal for an AD carry in the first place. If they're always getting their DPS out in team fights, then you're gonna have a rock that you can tank for, and he'll kill some people in team fights.
And he's paired with Bunny Fufu. Again, because they played in the LCS together.
Right.
So he has a support that he's very familiar with and has a lot of repetitions with. And I think that the comfortability of this bottom lane is going to be something that we have to keep an eye on this game. Because it's Altec and Glebe. You know, they're very comfortable with each other because they played on Cloud9 Tempest. But I feel like Glebe just hasn't been playing up to the level that he was before, and he's having some trouble. But I think that Altec also has to readjust with that, as long as being in a completely new team with new members.
Well,
new members of the team.
Exactly. Yeah. I got you. Well, Gravity is a tight-knit group, and say the different personalities and play styles of other members will make for dangerous combinations in the LCS.
We used to be Curse Academy, used to be a part of the Curse brand. We ended up qualifying through the expansion tournament, and now we're Gravity.
This time around joining the LCS, it felt like we really earned it. I remember Keen just ran up to me and gave me a big hug after our game, so it really felt good.
We got Cop, who's like pretty passive kind of AD carry. Not really known as a playmaker, but he's really consistent.
Saint and I are the leaders of the team, I guess you could say. We're the more vocal ones on the team.
Bunny's like a super big playmaker though, so he's like the complete opposite end of the spectrum with Cop. Cop I was like, I don't know if I want to go, and Bunny's like, no, you're coming.
So, Fufu can't take the little Mercer now! He gets it! It's gonna be Kiwi Kid!
Having Cop in my lane is definitely really good, just because he's like a veteran and I'll like do crazy solo queue stuff sometimes, and he'll just be like, Bunny, don't do that, and he'll save my life like 5 seconds later.
We have Old Man Saint in the jungle, me in top lane. I'd say we are good at shot calling rotational plays. We don't have like one carry on our team who like we give all the farm to.
Keen, he's kind of quiet, soft-spoken, but he plays a lot of really random stuff like Urgot and Hecarim and like all this other, just like God knows what else.
Having Saint and Cop in our team like helps me a lot, because I'm like new in NA and like LCS, but they got the experience, so they help me out a lot.
I mean, I've been in esports for like 4 years, so that's an eternity by gamer standards. I took a year off. Personally, I grew a lot as a player and like understand like what a team needs and basically how to lead a team a lot better.
All our personalities complement each other playing. It keeps us like level-headed, and between Saint like stubborn-headed and then like me, Cobb joking around, I think it all mixes well.
We're not on that forever fork thing, so we're not part of Curse, so hopefully we can do better than our predecessors.
I've been on the team the longest, so I think that's just my curse. I'm okay with it. 4th place, new team in LCS, I'll take it.
For more on Gravity, we're going to send it over to Kobe.
Thank you, Riv. I'm here with Gravity Samurai, the owner of Team Gravity. 19 years old, here on opening day of the LCS and your first game. Now, can you even compare this to any other experiences that you've had in your life?
I am so stoked right now. You don't even understand. I've actually never been to an LCS or anything like that, or any convention or anything like that. So I'm freaking out. And I know the guys are going to do their best, so I really don't have anything to worry about.
All right, well, step 1 complete. You've got a team. Step 2, as an owner, how do you set this team up for success, and what has the preseason practice been like for you guys?
Well, as soon as we got the team, I flew out, and basically we just moved them out of the old Curse house, went to the new Gravity house, sat around with no furniture or anything for like a couple days. We didn't have internet, we didn't have hot water. They had to go to like a different gaming cafe just to play and stream and stuff. And so since then, I've been trying to make everything absolutely perfect for them. Like, we got them all new computers, we got them all their own desks, all of them have their own rooms, and you know, for me, it's just all about making sure that they are the most comfortable so that they can just spend all their time on the game.
All right, and do you have a bar that you're looking to hit this split, the first split for your team? How are you going to measure that success?
For me, I'd say I want my role to be a complete success. Even if they like make top 3 or better yet, make the first place, I would really not be comfortable or proud of myself if I didn't give it 110%. So really, I just want to make sure that I'm making them the most comfortable that they can be and make sure they have no complaints.
All right, well, let's get into that game here. Let's send it up to Riv and Jat at the desk, and they're going to get us ready.
Thank you very much, Kobe. That sounds like a great deal. Where do I sign up, right?
Yeah, I'm on Team Gravity.
Let's see how Gravity does this season. Let's get right into the action with a quick look at our starting lineups. On the blue side, it's Winterfox. As the guys mentioned, we do have a few substitutions. So today, part of the top lane will be played by Flares. Covering the jungle is Shorter Ace. Mid, Pobelter, all tech at 80 carry, and in as support is Glebe.
It's going to be tough for them with 3 subs, but on the red side it is Gravity. Haunter in the top lane, St. Vicious in the jungle, Keen, maybe he'll play Hecarim in the mid lane, Cop on 80 carry, and Bunny Fufu, the playmaker, on support.
I'm ready to see what these guys can bring to the table. Veterans versus quite a new team of people as well.
Yeah.
Let's see some playmaking. I was really hyped up when they were like, Bunny's going to make so many plays. And then that clip again, I remember that clip so well. Nerd chills. I want to see it again.
Bunny Fufu probably won't get Thresh, but we'll be able to see only because there's so many champions that are an incredibly high priority ban right now. I really wonder if Thresh will kind of sneak through and not be worth a first pick, and then Gravity would be able to get it on the next rotation of picks.
Well, we will have to see. Heading right into picks and bans right now as we get game number 3 underway. Winterfox versus Gravity. These guys actually pretty much neighbors, living on the same street, which is pretty neat. They get to hang out in the same area, get those scrims down, hang out with each other. So they have a good camaraderie between the teams. They obviously know what kind of power they can bring to the table. And as the bans go out, you see LeBlanc and Lysindra already on that ban list. No Jarvan for either Saint or Shorter Ace.
Shorter Ace actually had a pretty good showing at the expansion tournament.
It was impressive.
Although his team was unable to qualify. Knocked out of that tournament, unfortunately. Looks like with the Z ban at least, that is very heavily targeted at Pobelter. So in the offseason, this is why it's really unfortunate that Winterfox is playing with these subs. It is too bad that they have the subs because they did a boot camp in Korea. The team was all ready to go. Pobelter and Alltech had that entire offseason of hype, basically, because Pobelter was destroying solo queue.
Korea, just all
everywhere.
these videos on Reddit. That was ridiculous.
And we'll see if Pobelter and Alltech's synergy alone could carry him through. Sivir first pick, though, for Alltech. That's pretty huge.
High priority coming in on that one. Release in for St. Vicious. He has definitely worked on that champion over the years. He can lay down some pretty good sonic waves connecting it. Haunter is going to take Janna for Bunny Fufu, so not so many plays to be made there, but you can still make it happen for your 80 carry.
It's probably his second best support, at least. It's one of the big things he did while he was outside of the LCS is like, well, my Thresh is obviously LCS quality. Time to work on other supports.
That's what you need to do.
And his Janna is very good. Wow. So Rengar Annie.
That's a lot of power coming out of that team. Anybody that gets caught, you are pretty much nullified instantly. Wait a minute. They want it. Oh, look at this. Look at the smile coming out of the coach here.
Yeah. Soldra, the coach for Gravity right now.
Yep. They're enjoying it. It's good that they can have fun in Champion Select, that they can just know that they can already put smiles on their face and a schoolyard lock it in here.
New team, old tricks.
Yep.
Hovering troll picks that they won't end up going with.
Hey, your first time on stage, you got to do a hover. You got to please the crowd. It will be in his ear for Keen, though. Cop's going to take Corky. He's played that since the day of his inception into League of Legends, so he'll be fine on that. Just farm out the game and get himself to his late game phase. We'll see how these guys do, though. Keen, a lot of people say he's strong. Talking to Saint during the expansion tournament, I was like, who's this Haunter guy? He says he's the real deal. In the top lane, he can put up plays. He's not afraid to make it happen, and they're leaving last pick for top. It's the first time we've really seen this happen.
It is really interesting that they have Azir. It could be Azir top. Technically, Azir's a flex pick.
That's true. Good call.
Overpow played Azir top in the European LCS yesterday. So definitely the potential of flexing, which will make this pick a little bit more difficult for Winterfox.
Ooh, guitar there, talking to Pole Belter. They're saying, yeah, Fizz, Renekton. And we were seeing a little bit more Renekton.
Slightly buffed Renekton. He had a large number of his abilities tweaked in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But basically, it's Pole Belter's Fizz here. Will he be able to hyper carry off the back of that 7 speed?
Awesome. All right, Haunter. He's going to be putting up some power here. I love Sion. Kind of like a Gnar. You can just sit there and build a bunch of defense and be a menace the entire game. We'll see if Flares can stop him. And great compositions coming out from both sides. I think they round out nicely.
And Gravity was actually put fairly highly in some of the community power rankings that were out there preseason in North America. Some teams, I think Gold per 10's power rankings had them as high as number 4 in the entire LCS. And with Winterfox playing with 3 subs and a pretty solid lineup coming out for Gravity, they should be in a position to do quite well. It's all going to be about whether they can shut down Pole Belter's Fizz and Altec Sever, really, because those are the only two core members on Winterfox right now. Tons of preseason hype. I'm sure tons of people have Altec on their fantasy team. Early picks on 80 carries because his numbers last year on a losing team were incredible.
We heard a lot about Altec from Crepo, as he would call him, Johnny, playing with him, saying if there's a kind of thing there where he's still himself and he doesn't take to the team. Maybe he's starting to take the team, and that's when a player really grows and you can see all of their full potential. The game's about to go live, so let's get those predictions rolling in. Tweet hashtag WFXWin or hashtag GVWin to @LOL Esports, and we'll be tallying your votes throughout the game to see who's going to take game number 3 of the North American LCS Spring Split here. Starting off this season, we've already seen some great plays today, and we're only going to see more.
Yeah, just to recap the day, Team Solo Mid taking down Cloud9 in a really well-fought game, honestly. Cloud9 with an early advantage.
Right.
TSM closing in behind them. And then the Dignitas versus Coast game.
Oh.
That ending. If you have not seen that and you're just tuning in now, go check out the ending.
Worth a 30-second
There's
watch.
a Baron, it's a Dignitas game, and the game ends shortly after.
Wow, that actually leaves a lot up in the air. That's a choose your own adventure if I ever heard one. So, not really worried about the wards because of their power in numbers. Thanks for making me a liar, Saint. I called you good on your cues. It's like he'll miss the first one. It's not
Scouting Q.
Too many problems. It's a little bit of an invade here. Not invade, but roam in by Annie. And Sip.
I remember.
By Altec.
Oh, wow.
That happened.
Shorter is able to kill the ward. Now, keep in mind, on this patch, wards are not stealthing as quickly as they should.
You don't say.
So it is a little bit easier to kill them. That's another thing that will be fixed next patch.
You're trying to take the credit.
All the players know that is the situation right now.
Yep.
And honestly, with the way he used his Q, he would have killed the ward even without the bug.
Right.
But
he
did it. Good job.
There's a few champions that can do that early game. Get yourself a Leona or something, and you're right as rain if somebody puts a ward in your face. So we'll get a little bit of help here to shorter ace. As he starts on the Krug's bottom lane, Gromstar help going over to St. Vicious.
An invade early, actually. And not a necessarily good scout. It looks like they're going to do some vertical jungling here, though, just because of the lane swap. So if St. Vicious were to go for his own blue buff right now, it would be way too dangerous. The question will be how much of this jungle do they decide to take?
Let's see what Flares goes after this. They obviously realized that the 2v1 happened before they had a chance to see it, or rather beforehand at all. That could hurt.
You know, this is really curious. What is Flares doing? Because normally, as a top laner in a lane swap, you are either double jungling or staying in the lane.
Well, that's Annie in Rengar right now, which is weird.
Yeah, he's doing neither. And yeah, this is...
And he's going to try to do Raptors
all kinds of strange.
That'll be painful.
So I've actually seen a few variations of this. I was watching the Chinese LPL, and OMG started the game triple jungling, actually. They used a jungler, top laner, and a support to power through the jungle, because if both teams are lane swapping, and there's no dives because the other team is respecting it too much, there's no need to have multiple people in that bottom lane, and you can instead use your team to help gank and go.
Oh, Keen, there's the stun, the roam, too close to the turret, but they did force that flash. That gives Pobelter and Glebe, the rest of the team, a chance to come back.
And Glebe had actually charged his stun in the jungle while he was helping that out. Didn't need to start with his W, then had a point-and-click stun onto Keen, making it easier for him to burn that flash. But yeah, this is a very low investment jungle. It did look like Flares decided to do Raptor Camp with his Q on Renekton's. A very dynamic opening here. Teams look like it looks like they're freestyling since they have 3 subs, but I wonder if that was part of the plan.
Putting that first 100+ gold into Pink Ward vision as well. So kind of just offering safety to the rest of the jungle here as they need to recoup a little bit from what's happening. It's not like Hunter is getting too much on that Scion right now, so he's not that far behind. They're both level 2 at this point. Free farm for Cop in the top lane. We've always seen him have a consistent CS. We heard Saint talking about him. He won't be making the plays, but he delivers. He'll give you what you need.
And I would definitely say solo lane Corki, being able to get a level advantage is very important. And Flares, even though he is on Renekton, who is a typical solo laner, because of the early disadvantage he was put into and having to go do Raptors and then make it to lane, I don't think he's going to be able to keep up in CS with Cop. 1v1.
I gotta say, I feel like Cop would be a little more aggressive already. Almost every auto attack between not farming a minion should be going on to Flares right now. He can give him so much harass and easily get the safety. But that's Cop. Cop plays down.
He also has no ward control, which is the other thing. Knowing that Annie is somewhere.
The wave did just come out.
And oftentimes in lane swap situations like this, the support will go and aid what is supposed to be the top laner, which is what we're seeing with the Janna Scion lane there. He kind of knows Annie's on her way. He's got to be a little bit careful.
Well, playing that one safe, as he should.
Saint's trying to get that free gold.
Shorter ace coming down. He'll be seen by the Pink Ward. Looks like that's the ping in from Saint right there.
Oh, we snuck behind it. No flash on Keen.
This is the counter to the counter. He uses the shifting sands to get forward. Will it help? This isn't something Saint can really get himself into. He's going to try, and he puts down a
bit of
damage. It can't be shorter ace. They pile onto him, hip to hip. Can't connect it. Bunny Fufu now coming in with the Howling Gale. Only out of lane on this one, and they're not going to be able to provide too much. Winterfox positioning nicely and able to engage every new challenger.
Hey, the team with 3 subs is the ones who draw first blood. Some great roam there by Glebe, edging his way around the ward, knowing that he doesn't really need to help Sivir down in the bottom lane, letting Flares fend for himself, and really just trying to get Pobelter going on Fizz.
Somewhat of an upper hand. You can use your advantage in that one. You've been scrimming against the entire team of 5. You don't know what these new guys are going to do. They don't have any kind of things they stick to or something you're sure of. So coming out with a very early roam in the beginning takes Gravity off guard. That's going to be first blood. Nothing huge. It does go to Pobelter, and he looks for damage on that. The Sheen coming out. So he could actually try to make some plays.
Full ferocity.
This is the wards that we were talking about. It's going to be the lockdown. No, Flares turns around. He doesn't have enough. Where's the attack? Cuts him down right out of the air. St. Vicious could easily capitalize on this. Haunter comes in.
Man.
That's going to be a few if they can get it. Wait, no! Flares gets away! What a beautiful slice and dice. St. Vicious was rearing back to punch him and didn't connect with the auto attack.
And then Shorter Ace gets 5 ferocity and is able to heal on the backside of that one. They get out by the hair of their chinny chin chin. Or the skin of their teeth, whichever one you want to say. But it was ridiculously close. These are the kind of games that completely go the way of the other team when you're so close to getting kills and almost escaping kills, but it just continually goes the other way. That's happened with these first 2 kills, and no counter by Gravity.
That's the scary part, because it's always just I want that last step, and that's going to cost you your life.
Oh,
Belter going in, Emperor's Divide, just stop short.
Not the best time for a pause, but we'll get the reason for that as shortly as possible, as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, early on in the game, Winterfox really coming out huge. Obviously, the lane swap is not going entirely their way, as you can see by the CS.
They made things work, though.
But Sivir having 62, Sion having 36, you add up top laner and AD carry and just compare them against the other teams, they would actually be winning that overall. Cop hasn't been doing a great job CSing 1v1 against Renekton, and Glebe has been doing a very good job roaming around on an under-leveled Annie. I mean, he's only level 3, but he created that pressure in the mid lane, burning Keen's flash, and then getting the kill the second time that could maybe let Pobelter just skyrocket through this game.
If we look at the things that they have done, those are things you can do all the time. So it's like they already had it in the book. If you walk into lane with Annie stun and there's another person with you, you're probably going to blow that flash in mid and you can return. It's almost a guaranteed every time you approach mid, as long as you have the vision to not get countered. So Winterfox is kind of sticking to the book and everything's working textbook style. Really great for him.
Yeah, it was a keyboard issue with Glebe, which is why we're paused.
Okay.
Hopefully it's one of those times where you can just unplug it and plug it back in.
But then you have to turn it over because the USB won't fit. And then you turn it over again, and then it won't fit. So you get it 2 more times, and you get it. We'll be back into this one shortly.
That is how USBs work.
That is how USBs work.
Yeah.
There are 4 different ways you can put it in. So we see that back, obviously, from Flares. He's not too rich yet. Goes for another Doran's Blade and a little bit of damage in the longsword as well. So he's trying to keep himself at least maintained in that lane. And he's only 10 CS, or rather 7 CS down, so not too shabby there.
I want to see how that Renekton impacts the game later, because it looks like it's going to be very hard for him to get in there in team fights. And Azir pushing it back, Sion stuns, Corki, Janet, everything is just kind of pushing against him. I think a lot of it's just going to be about him taking up space and split pushing on Renekton. I think that's his sole job, because the rest of the team will be this assassination squad.
Right, in and out. No reason to stay long. Use Dominus. Use Dominus to get yourself out of sticky situations in the top. We'll see if it plays out like that. As you can see, it is the pause from Winterfox, as we said, getting Glebe's keyboard all suited up. And it looks like we may be ready to get back into game shortly. We do know that Gravity has been pretty much getting in their own head a little bit. The kills not going their way, but they're stretching themselves thin to try and achieve these. With the pause we just had that will be resuming, again, they were trying to go on to Keen and mid, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and it's going to be action as soon as we come back out of this pause, because Pobelter had just ulted Keen, but the Emperor's Divide was disengaging him.
Yep.
And that's it. They decide not to fight.
And it disengaged. So, settling down now. All the players getting back into the roll of things. See a little bit of back and forth here in the top. Level 5s for both. I'm trying to see where they are at level 6. And it looks like they're halfway there on both sides. Teleports have been used, so they'll probably be returning to top lane for the next few minutes here. It's going to be all about what the lanes can do. We saw Shorter Ace trying to provide, and has 3-6 Rengar ganks. 1-0-1 for him. Still waiting for Saint to get there in time. He's kind of been a little short on each of these engagements.
One step slow.
Right.
Winterfox.
There you
Fair bit
go.
of fan support early on in this game. The sub squad. Can a sub squad win in the LCS? CLG tried a few times last year.
That's true.
To no avail. Had a few close games.
When they sub one person, they seem to do well. When they sub a whole team, that's a different story.
I wonder, though. Glebe's still level 3, and it's the last straggler. Oh!
Just because everybody else walked through it doesn't mean the last person's safe. Something to remember. Uh-oh, Altec getting caught out here. He thought the team actually had control, but they just left River. He's going very low. The Ignite is down. That's the last hit. That's going over to Cop. Who says he's not aggressive?
Straight up right there. Altec did not have vision control, and he was up past the point that he would be safe. Cop and Bunny Fufu do a good job of just capitalizing with the move speed from Jan and getting a kill. They do end up burning Flash and Ignite to get that, but they burned Altec Summoners as well, and it gives Cop some time to catch up in CS.
Glebe making sure he's safe down here, trying to charge that stun up so he doesn't get dove. Nice hits from Cop coming in as well. Does his phage so he can get himself out off those shots and the movement speed safely if he needs to. Everybody's just, or everything I should say, really going the way of Winterfox right now. They did just lose one, but that's not going to be too bad. LTech 73-69 was up in CS, so that was Gravity trying to get back into this one, and they did.
When this game approaches the team fight phase, it's going to be very critical that Pobelter can get himself involved because the overall team might not have the most damage. Here we go, though. Saintfish is level 6, trying to gank flares.
Oh, there's the ultimate. The gong is off. Haunter not going to be able to swing that one around, and he had actually just used Roar of the Slayer, that minion push, as Saint came into lane, so they actually didn't have any real big follow-up on that.
Saint couldn't quite get the kickoff before Flares was able to dash over top of him. So again, just a hair slow.
Ooh. Looks like Pobelter wants a refresh on that blue buff, but he's not going to get it. No attack possibility here. He's forced to stay back, though. You can see just how annoying it is to try and farm against an Azir. Nicely done. Really dodging out all the attacks that could have hit him. Takes a while to figure out the placement, the soldiers. Does a little bit of through-line AoE damage, so you can't stand too close. But Pobelter's got it on lockdown.
Well, with how much that guy plays.
Oh, my gosh.
He's probably played against many Azirs in the top echelons of North American solo queue, or even Korean solo queue, for that matter. Definitely seems like he's very well-versed at dodging here, and a big-time gank coming in. Get out of there, Keen.
Whoa, that's the divide. Chum the Waters hits it, though. Look at that. They just circumvent the wall and walk out.
The mid lane camp is very real, and Gravity's going to have to find a way to respond to this if they want to win this game, because everyone is just piling on Keen. Not much more Keen can do about that unless they get some vision control or some backup, if they're willing to burn that many ultimates and flashes and summoner spells just to secure a second kill on Azir. Nice kill, though, by Winterfox, collapsing onto Keen. Nothing he could have done.
It's something you don't think you'd be seeing with Azir having that much stability and controlling the area around him. But they're just walking right around it. It only hits one person. They figured it out. So I don't think Keen's very safe in that mid lane. May need a little more help from Saint, who's also not getting the game he wants, at least compared to what Shorter Ace has had so far. 1-0-2, boots and mobility, so he's creating more options and more lanes. And Saint's kind of still sitting on recipes right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shorter Ace completing his boots of mobility before even upgrading to his warrior enchantment. Because really, it is about getting Pobelter fed. It's Operation Camp Keen is what this game is turning into.
Funny foo-foo, a little bit of aggression. Doesn't get the spell shield out of that one, but they do on the rocket.
There's a butt in there.
Careful. Get out of that one quite easy. Saint just knowing where you can put the pressure here, and they may be able to act on something in this bottom lane. I know they're going to at least try to clear a ward, but they don't have the control to even do that just now. Maybe get it a little bit later. Shorter Ace again towards the mid lane. Bringing the hot dogs this time, setting up the camp. There it is, Chum the Waters, nom nom. That's another one for Pobelter. Rinse and repeat.
There's smiles going on all across Winterfox's faces right now. That gank was just too easy for Shorter Ace. Keen walks in range of a brush, doesn't even have to burn his flash in order to get that empowered bullet right on top of Keen. Easy kill.
Whoa. Wow, drawing the teleport. Okay, they got Bunny Fufu. I don't think he'll be too alive for much longer in this. Wait a minute. They could pull this fight around. The shield won't come out. Haunter comes in with low mana. He's pretty much right now. Not being able to provide too much other than a body, and they still turned it around here with Saint, though. One last hit. Oh my gosh, they're picking up kills here with slivers of health, and Pobelter's about to have a heyday as he starts picking up a few. That's going to be Haunter going down after the passive knocks out. And beautiful job by Winterfox to just close in on the bottom lane and stop that aggression.
It ends up being a 2-for-1 right there. Sivir ulting in order to get Glebe in range for the ultimate gives them the proper start to that fight. And then they teleport in burst. Even though Haunter was there, it wasn't enough. I mean, look at this. Not even Sivir ult to get in range. Bunny Fufu just lost his mind. There's no reason to walk that close to Glebe and Altec. Burns his ultimate just to try and stay alive. Has to get out of there. Flares gets in the instant before Haunter and closes the kill. And at this point, Saintfish is just trying to make a play when a play's not completely there. I'm sure they're saying Haunter's got all, everything looked great up until this point, but they couldn't get the finish, and nobody was accounting for Pobelter. Keen had no presence in that mid lane, and Pobelter could just come straight down once again and pick up even more kills.
7-2 now as we approach just 14 minutes in this game.
Yeah, you can see the pause screen popped up right during that replay. Unfortunately, there's been some technical difficulties today, but it's day one of the North American LCS. Once again, we'll keep you completely up to date. It does look like Glebe's keyboard issues persist.
The Gleboard.
Gleboard.
The Gleboard problem. We'll see if he can get that fixed up.
Jeez.
See Short Race waving to the crowd. He is having so much fun up there. Just on the cross shot, he was like, hey, what's going on, guys? I am crushing faces right now, and it feels good. There he is, the wonder kid of Washington.
It's got to feel good. 4,000 gold there on Rengar, but it's all about Pobelter. 4,800 gold on Fizz. 302, 1,300 ahead of Keen's Azir. Just really looking to run over this game.
It's definitely a different dynamic. We heard Hanser in the pregame video saying, you know, there's nobody really on Curse that will feed the kills to, or one person that'll get everything. Not the case with Winterfox. That's Pobelter. He holds that role. And right now at 302, 15 OCS up above his opponent, 13. It's pretty. He's going to make some plays this game. I think we can see that out of him. More Reddit clips to come.
We'll have to see how effective he can be. I mean, we saw High's Fizz get shut down by Darius' Aurelia.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there someone who can block Pobelter and just stand next to him in fights? You would hope that could be Hanser, but honestly, I feel like Fizz is far too mobile for Sion's incredibly dodgeable abilities. Gravity tried to get Dragon, but Winterfox is there to contest. 5v5 at Dragon Pit.
It's like standing in front of a train and you move
Dragon
at the
reset.
last second. Dragon's back out. Actually hitting Glebe right now. That's 2 down, 1 for each side respectively. Divide goes out. They're trying to take down Cop. Altec with the boomerang coming off a cooldown. Will he be able to throw the last one? Storm Shield to save Cop, and it looks like they may retaliate just a little bit. Pobelter on this side here is making that change, though. It doesn't look like Gravity really wants to get themselves back into this tussle. But back in a fourth, the Dragon stays alive throughout that one as one goes down for both Winterfox and Gravity.
Poor junglers. The Dragon reset as they both went in to try and smite it. So it was no longer in kill range. Then the fight erupted, but both junglers had put themselves in such compromising positions that they died in the fight. So tricky stuff, but still Winterfox with a big lead.
Let's see how they apply it. Something we noticed, you know, throughout any season or the beginning of a season is teams have a bit of trouble closing out a game. Dragons kind of stop that. Allows people that power they need to really just get through after the first inhibitor, but we'll see if these newer teams can hold that and get it down.
I want to see how Pobelter can carry this game, or if he can, because Pobelter has always been a top solo queue player. Ever since he was 15 years old, he was kind of just, everyone was waiting for him to join the LCS. He was actually on...
Felt like he was 15 forever.
He was actually on Curse of all teams while he was 15. And then eventually he made it into the LCS, and it didn't transfer over immediately. He was in the LCS while still finishing high school. He couldn't devote all of his time to the game. I mean, it's been years in the making, the development of this guy. It's a little bit comparable to Reckless in EU when he was too young to play the LCS, but everyone knew he was really good. It's just Pobelter was never quite the same name, but he's always had that talent. It's just a matter if he can realize that, play as a team, and show up on the big stage. This could be his year, honestly. He had a strong finish to last year. The team is more built around him now.
Right, there's nobody to overshadow that.
And he's doing this with subs right now. I mean, this isn't even the team that was built around him. So it's looking like a very strong opening for Pobelter. We'll see if he can close out this game with his immense lead.
A lot of plays being made by this team, Pobelter especially, and with the option of Altec to kind of be that same person as well. His skills are on the up and up. And they have the ability to have 2 players with that ability. Glebe, he's trying to get an upper hand on the ward control, see if he can kill anybody trying to plant one, but they don't. He like hides under that ward. You almost can't even see him at all. Only the nameplate. Good clear coming in from Keen. Almost called him shifter for a second. 17 minutes on the clock. Both teams respecting now that the ults are around and on everybody. A lot of champions hitting level 11 as well, so that's something they're trying to get under their belt. And we see once more towards the mid lane. That's the Monsoon. They don't use the divide. I was going to say, if they get through both of those disengages and still get a kill, but they get out safely this time.
That's really huge. That's what Gravity needs to do to stop those dives. You can see how hard it is, but they repel it that time.
Flashes.
That's true.
Tough to get out. Oh.
Pop the ultimates from Winterfox, though, before that Dragon. And in the in the long term, you'd rather have your ultimate because it comes back before Flash, but in the short term, the ultimates would win or lose this fight. So Gravity should pile onto the Dragon here, knowing there's ults down from Winterfox.
Oh. They get a little bit of a tunnel here. Glebe went way too far. The rest of the team, what? Altec coming out huge on this one, as well as Glebe. They focus down onto 2. Saint and Bunny Fufu no longer for this world. That's a double kill coming in for Altec. Beautiful job as they drop 3. Haunzer is going to be bolting out of this one with a short sprint. Almost a kill onto Cop as Pobelter is trying to make more plays. And Winterfox is all over these engagements immediately. Great teleport.
Geez, Saint Vicious thought he had the upper hand there, and if they would have engaged in a clean fashion, I think they would have, but he doesn't even get his Lee Sin kick off in that fight. I think Glebe was able to stun him, and then the rest of Winterfox was able to just focus him down before he makes a play. This game is getting out of control. Winterfox is pulling away.
Winterfox is definitely pulling away. Odd to hear when a lot of the people said Gravity is one of the better teams coming in. Let's check this again.
Yeah, I mean, what a strange fight where Glebe thinks he has a catch on to Cop, and then they're kind of running away. Sivir has an immense amount of burst and is able to get him with the backside of that boomerang, as it was actually Shorter Rays who held him in place. And it looked like an Infinity Edge crit that came through from Altec, bursted down for a fair bit of damage, and at that point, Gravity didn't collapse at the right point. They were already down a person. Even though the ultimates weren't there, it was fine. And Pobelter nearly finishing off Cop on the backside.
That was sneaky. Looking like a fadeaway run to get himself to safety. 45 seconds before the Baron is on the map. I don't really think anybody's going to be looking towards that just yet, however. You see Pobelter sticking the needlessly large rod into his inventory. Saint forced the flash out of that. A huge front-end burst hit. Nice slam down by Haunzer. They can really turn this one around. And as Winterfox enters the jungle all willy-nilly, they're going to definitely pay for this Raptor attack to go down.
Gravity finally sets up a trap right there. That's what they need to do. They punish this time Shorter Rays and Glebe for overdiving, and Pobelter was not there to supplement the gank. Really showed they didn't have the damage outside of the big fish they got in the mid lane.
A little bit of disrespect being given there, saying we're strong, we can walk anywhere. Not the case. Gravity can still take your team out. 20 minutes in, and we see a little bit of life there from Gravity on the attack to save their jungle. Looking at the lanes, actually pretty all even. Saint Vicious, however, we saw him farming up a lot. It is 69 to 48 as he was trying to repair what Shorter Race had done to his team in the early game. Mostly Keen. Keen had a hard time.
Yeah, and there's actually a huge amount of gold in the jungle now. The jungler is willing to go and farm it. With the recent buff to the jungler items that happened in the 5.1 patch that we're playing on right now, an extra 30 gold every time he kills that jungle monster. If you just sit there and farm in the jungle, you become a very, very rich man. And despite Saint's 3 deaths, he is ahead of Shorter Rays in gold just because of that CS discrepancy by a whole 300.
Level as well, so we'll be hitting 11. Then that Dragon's Rage kick up leveled once more. And just some wave control coming in here for Gravity, as nobody's really making a move just yet. Cleaning up red buffs, cleaning up blue buffs. It could be flares, however, in the top lane. Oh, so close. No cigar. Ooh, BN.
Oh, geez. To be fair, Cyanol rarely hits people. He's talking about these Winterfox guys are just trying to get in the heads of Gravity. They know they're playing with subs. So
yeah,
they can do no wrong, in a sense. If they win, whatever. No one expected them to win. If they lose, everyone expected that because they have 3 subs. So it puts
mind games.
It puts an added sense of pressure on Gravity. And what way to try and push them over the edge than just laughing in their face?
It's like what Unicorns of Love says. Why'd you name yourself that? Because it'd be funny if you had to go tell your friends you got beat by Unicorns of Love. There you go. That would suck. It looks like some teams had to do that this weekend. Left to 6 here in this one. 22 minutes on the clock. Gold lead, obviously, in favor of Winterfox, along with all of the turrets this game. Not even able to crack a base yet. The base, I should say, for Gravity. They've been kept to their side of the map. Good clearing. Seems legit.
Yeah. That long-range ward clear. Good. Surprised they've lost 2 pink wards to that brush, considering Azir can so easily clear them.
Yeah.
I would rather sweep that brush against Azir and place your pink ward further away. But they really need that pink ward, that brush cleared because that's their gank path for Rengar. It's a very contentious spot.
What a back and forth fight. Put some batteries in these guys' gloves, do a little more damage. 13 to 12. Oh, wait. Here we go. Bunny Fufu. Nope.
Janna's shield, also known as the battery, to help you do more damage.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can see that brush that Keen continually clears ping boards out of is the spot that both teams need to control. If Winterfox controls it, they can get clean ganks off in the mid lane. If Gravity controls it, they just simply can't.
As soon as they see him, this could easily... I guess they won't die. If he has dominance, that'd be really hard to kill him. Minute on Dragon. A lot's being focused here towards the top lane. Looks like they're going to back. They realize that, and they want to get themselves prepared as well. Haunter's going to start walking down. Get a ward down. He may even walk down a Dragon. He'll keep teleport up. We'll see flares stay as well. So nobody really getting a kill out of this for the last 5 or so minutes. It's been pretty much a stalemate. I think it's all about the Dragons.
I wonder if Gravity's going to even be able to contest these Dragons. They have relatively limited vision control in that pit, and they must know how far behind they are. Sivir and Fizz are both getting very strong.
No.
It's actually, Altek's build is rather greedy, but he's going to be very rich for it. Normally when you build the Avarice Blade, you do Static Shiv.
Right.
But he's just sat on the Avarice Blade the entire time he's been farming. It's actually accrued an extra 423 gold for him already. And I doubt the Static Shiv's going to be his next item. I feel like Last Whisper or Bloodthirster will be his next item, and then maybe a Static Shiv. He's just going to be sitting on that Avarice Blade for a super long time. It gave almost no combat effectiveness, but eventually it's going to pay for itself.
428 gold off of that already. No contest. Dragon number 2 going over. Very nicely done. Oh dear. Sundisk goes down to the turret. Glebe tries to flash in with the Tibbers ultimate, finally gets it down there, and it is just such a back and forth ping pong fight. This is the members of Gravity going down, however, and we see Haunter now in the middle of the fight trying to take down Shorter Ace. He's done such a great job at just taking control of people's vision, while Pobelter and the rest of the team wipe them off of the map.
Oh geez, a 4-for-1 in what was a very chaotic, almost YOLO fight by Winterfox. It looked like they just said, all right, let's fight. Everybody do something. It wasn't even super coordinated, but they ended up killing 4 people on Gravity. Pobelter was getting bounced around by the Azir ultimate the whole time, and it just simply didn't matter. Winterfox is that far ahead.
Lichbane's going to help crush this one down quite nicely. Altek gets out safely as well, so they drop another turret on the game. Gravity has only dropped the mid turret, which helps open up the map. So we look at this one more time.
I mean, it's the Sivir ult with the Rengar ultimate. They don't even synchronize their initiation, but the Tibbers is good. It sits in there for a little while. Haunter kind of zones out, and watch Pobelter here. He just gets, I think it's Janna ulted out. I thought it was the Emperor's Divide that messed him up. He didn't have a huge impact on that fight, but because Altek was also fed, because Renekton is getting quite strong, everyone is just utilizing their lead and punishing the passive behind team of Gravity. The whole fact that Altek has been allowed to buy that Avarice Blade, sit on it, and not get punished really speaks to a lack of map pressure by the rest of the Gravity team. And it's really meaning a big, big edge for Winterfox.
Well, we see fights all the time, but we rarely see a team fight like that, wanting to just barrel head first into it. There's always some back and forth, some dancing, and then the fight goes down after you've placed 3 or 4 wards and tried to take it out. Winterfox, not a care in the world here as they do their engagements. Ready to lose one, but take your entire team. And it seems to be the goal since the beginning of this one.
Yeah, and for those of you that have been watching since the start of the day, this is kind of the pylon Sivir composition that Cloud9 wanted to have at the start of the day. When you can just pop the Sivir ult and have everybody go and get to the target you want to, is ideal. That it's such an important thing. They were able to get the mid lane ganks onto Keen that really started this whole thing rolling, because that then gives them river control if the mid laner can never get, the enemy mid laner can never get past his turret. And the move speed you get from Rengar plus Sivir and then the lockdown from Annie makes even a properly positioned opponent look out of position. because you're just so much faster and you can catch them in spots.
We saw a bit of it coming from Coast as well. They had the Rengar, they had the Leona, and they would blast it as soon as they went in. Just get those one engages. Winterfox working it the same and working it very well. You got it. Gravity has to be like they're in every brush. That's what you consider right now. Any brush that's not warded, they are standing in it. Very, very careful play has to come from them.
Gravity's doing their best. The only way you can get control back here is to pink ward your own jungle, which they are trying to do.
It's
but
close,
they just can't get enough pink wards out. That's one good ward. They saw him. Pop. Really?
Wait a minute. No.
Okay. Shorter Ace is like, all right, guys, sorry. I shouldn't have done that. That was a waste.
They're having fun, though. That's the part that counts. Able to keep their heads in the game, making sure they win while doing it with a smile. Just slow push in mid lane here. Altec to clear this out. Flares now to the bottom lane. See this back and forth once again. Probably not going to do too much to each other. Nice slice and dice to the smash, keeping himself safe here. Top of the map looks like it's going to be getting a little bit of help from the team. Gravity clearing waves out right now, but they're going to have to find a mistake fight coming in from Winterfox if they really want to get themselves back in this game. At 7,000 gold, that means there's more than one core item probably across the map in different lanes that's really putting you on the back foot. The map control that Winterfox has in 5-to-1 turrets, definitely leaving Gravity a little bit to be desired here.
We definitely have to note again, hopefully for the last patch, that with the Azir in the game, the turret count is inaccurate. It's 3 turrets down.
Oh, you're right, yep.
For Gravity. So Winterfox has the outer 3 down as well as a substantial amount of map control. But yeah, I do want to talk about the Avarice Blade on Altec. Probably after they all run and try and kill someone shortly. So they're trying to do. You should not be allowed to build an Avarice Blade. This is one of those things like, do not try this at home. Don't build an Avarice Blade and sit on it because it typically makes you incredibly weak as an AD carry. But he's been able to outfarm by such a wide margin that he has a full item advantage on Cop and an Avarice Blade to sit on, which is, by the way, giving him an extra 626.
I think it was Uzi that did that at Worlds and he just got punished in lane. He just tried to sit on it and they took it to him. They know you can do that. But like you said, playing it safe. Playing it smart. With the positioning on the team, everybody in front of him, he's been able to do this. Hit the lanes, farm it up. Now he's up to 643 gold off that Avarice Blade plus. 25 seconds on Dragon. Their turret, most likely their Dragon once again uncontested here as we see Gravity trying to clear and get the wave push towards the top lane. They'll take this turret, like you said, third Dragon now going over to Winterfox.
I think the only hope Gravity has here is that Keen can get to a powerful enough point that they can punish the heavy dive of Winterfox and somehow stay alive. He's going to have to build his Zanya's Hourglass out of that needlessly large rod. Because I've seen many games where an Azir that is really far behind can just crush a team fight if he gets his soldiers in the right position and he cuts the enemy off the right way. But it's going to be real tough against this Winterfox team.
Easy to say, put on paper, hard to do. Very hard to do, especially with the way this team is going to be moving. They have that Sivir, playful trickster, shorter ace, jumping around or being invisible. A tough task here for Gravity, but a task that can definitely be completed only 31 minutes into the game. They need to stop these dragons. One dragon would help them out immensely, at least at this point. But 3 on the favor of Winterfox only makes it harder to get that first dragon for themselves. Gravity's going to back. Looks like things are slow for them right now, but they feel they are safe enough with the control they have to do this back right now.
Definitely showing their subs right now for Winterfox. I think a more coordinated team with this type of gold lead, dragon lead, and diving composition would be able to manufacture advantages a little bit more quickly. But at the same time, because of the Avarice Blade on Altec and because they have the Fizz there, it's not the worst thing they're taking this long to kind of set up their plays. A Yuma. So he doesn't go Static Shiv. He goes to Ghost Blade on Sivir. That's actually something that a lot of people have been doing on their second item, just for more move speed on Sivir. Since you're already mobile, you're just supplementing your own strength. Personally like it. Plus it gives you that
pen on the boomerang.
Temporary power as well. 20% more move speed, 40% more attack speed for 6 seconds. Never hurts.
No.
But now he can't get that extra goal. And he has such a small amount of lifesteal in this build. Bloodthirster will have to be his
Are you
last
saying
guy.
that wasn't a financially stable decision?
I'd say it's pretty stable.
Oh,
There's the speed.
that's financially stable because that banks some gold. Going over to Pobelter, also going over to Alltech. These guys are cashing in right now, and now they're on to Haunter. Saint tries to get into this fight. Cop gets cuffed himself, but he's able to jump out of this one. It looks like another turret in for Winterfox. They're going to be tearing down to the inhibitors, looking right into the eyes of Gravity as they turn their base to shambles, and they're not even worried about the outside damage on this one. Shorter Ace completely tanking the turret. Guys, that shreds some of your resistances. You got to be careful. They finally get it to go down. An elongated fight here, which would be perfect for an Azir at range, but King got dropped in the beginning, and they'll have none of that. Winterfox comes out big on a 33-minute engage.
That's what keeps happening. Winterfox just beating Gravity to the punch. There's such a big lead at this point. It's almost impossible for Gravity to win this fight. The one hope I feel like Keen would have had is to stay alive in one of these fights, and he just took his Zenith to large rod, put it into a death cap, and he won't be able to Zhonya's when he gets dove.
Which has happened almost since minute 1.
Every single time.
Alltech, run. Make sure your shoes are tied. He'll be able to get out of this one.
Well,
Burn that air.
Maybe a Desperation Baron or something by Gravity. They need to get some type of catch before they'd start this thing.
Yeah.
But they could kill it rather quick.
Let me dive over this wall with no mana. Everybody's in like chaotic.
I mean, they're gonna go.
Rabid
Short Race is so
mode.
fast. They know they're doing Baron. They can't do it.
Oh,
here's maybe a fight though.
There's
really
the floor.
messy.
Ah, nice knockup. Nothing coming over. All right, that was a good dance. Nice moves by both teams there. Looks like everybody was getting a little rabid. Nobody had health or mana, and they were still trying to dive into these fights. It's getting crazy in this late game. The 10,000 gold, you're going to have to make crazy plays, especially if you're Gravity at this point to get back into the game.
Yep. And that was a Desperation Baron attempt. They really just hope Winterfox makes a bad dive decision, which is a possibility, but the laughing continues.
Too bad Saint didn't kick him there on the slice. That actually been pretty funny.
Into the Janna.
Yeah.
You're like, let's get, oh wait.
Ooh, Baron.
Yeah, it's an easy
Flares. Saying what? Raid boss Flares fighting top lane so Winterfox can get Baron. He's like, yeah, 3? You got 4? Are there 4 people? Flare's pretty big right now. Actually, even with the Hydra first, getting right to his items necessary as Spirit Visage for the health gain and magic resistance and Branduins to keep the fight going. Moving up to the second inhibitor turret.
And it's really been Pobelter and Alltech carrying the brunt. This Shorter Race did so much to help, as well as Glebe, though. They're actually playing like a pretty coordinated team. Last-ditch effort by Gravity. They're pretty far from their base,
He didn't hit anybody with that. Great dodges coming out of Winterfox, and they just walk out clean after being able to get a few shots on the inhibitor turret. They are messing with fire right now, but they're getting out unscathed.
Yeah, they figure they may as well be at full health if they try some type of game-ending fight. Because they are 12,000 gold ahead. 3 dragons, plus a Baron buff. Dragon 4 on the way in 45 seconds.
Pobelter, 3,700 gold above his lane opponent right now.
Yikes.
Quite a chunk at 705.
I'll do you one better. Alltech's 4,000 gold ahead of top. Who is the larger winner. Yeah, and even though Alltech has 0% lifesteal, he has that Elixir of Wrath, which gives him 10% healing on physical damage dealt, which is even better. It's so good on Sivir, you have no idea. It's healing him on Ricochet and on Boomerang Blade.
I'm going to say I'll give you that in gold, but he did have the Avarice Blade.
Yeah, he cheated. Big old cheater.
So it looks like they're going to use these minions for the bottom lane. Let's see if Flares uses that Baron. As we said before, you only need one guy with Baron buff to buff up these minions, and that's Flares for the top lane right now. Takes that inhibitor. They are going to get spread thin right now on the side of Gravity.
Yeah, this game's not going to last much longer with the Baron minions on one side and a Giant Renekton on the other. Here they go.
There's one. Nope, they don't go for the inhibitor to push through. That's going to be St. Vicious, and Flares going head-to-head in the top lane. He hasn't even put a dent in him yet, and St. Vicious now to half HP. helping that Hydra to keep him healed up just a little bit. He should be able to go down here, but that's now 2 of the resources for Gravity taken away, which means the bottom inhibitor, the bong goes off. An early activation, however, and they're able to just dip out with On the Hunt from Sivir.
That's all of them. 3 inhibitors down.
That is
methodical play from the triple sub squad here on Winterfox.
Very methodical. A method to a lot of the madness towards mid lane to shut down Keen. Pure control of Dragons, this being number 4 now as we approach 38 minutes in the game. A Baron already in their favor that's currently being utilized. It's far and beyond Ben Winterfox's game here, and a very impressive first game of this game.
It really has been.
Subs as well. Just
It's got to be so painful for Gravity right now. A lot of analysts were wondering what will be of Gravity. Obviously, it's a long season. We can't take too much off of this first game. But when they did qualify during the expansion tournament, they had full access to Curse's support staff. All their analysts and coaching and support. They had to move, a ton of adjustments being done. It's going to be a difficult adjustment period as we're seeing in this first game. Let's see if this is the final push. They're going to wait for 3 waves of super minions and probably just go and win.
Yeah, you can see him hanging out in mid as well. They're stalling for those waves. Push up, nice and easy on the outside. You can see how the base gates could semi be effective right now, but it's not even something Gravity can approach or leave. That's going to be the dive. On the Hunt goes off. It's going to be under the Nexus turrets here. Bunny Fufu still with the Monsoon. He holds that for the last second. And there he is. He throws it off to give the team a little bit of heal. Haunter is fighting 4 people right now, amazingly, but I think it's going to be for naught. He will go down in the end, possibly. Gets himself to the fountain, actually, for a little bit of solace, and it's only been Bunny Fufu that went down. Gravity's doing a great job at defending the fight, but not defending their Nexus turrets, because that's the objective. That's in the eyes of Winterfox. One final fight to bring them to their knees, and Gravity is now running for the fountain. Winterfox is on the Nexus. They're going to find their first win in the spring split here in North America 2015.
And what a way to start the season. Look out for Pobelter and Altec this year. 7-0-6 on Fizz, 9-2-10 on a very gold-hungry Sivir. 20,000 gold in an under 40-minute game.
That's crazy.
That's over 500 gold per minute right there. Flares, short arrays, Glebe, all actually performing very well when kind of the pressure was off. So big smiles all around for Winterfox. Oh, same fishes with the stare onto Pobelter.
Definitely swept off their feet this game. Winterfox came in roaring. And short race in the jungle, we said, played well in the expansion tournament with an unfortunate loss to the team that did not allow him into the LCS. But that does not stop his skill or his potential for play.
Yeah, a lot of people talk down on those North American Rengars.
I was actually just going to mention that.
That was only the North American Rengars that were in the LCS last year.
2015 season will be approached the same way, though.
Shorter race.
See that gig?
So many mid lane games.
Congratulations from Guitar there, knowing that he played well. And I think a big thing, again, is that they just did this with subs. What does the real team look like? Hopefully it's just as good.
Yeah, hopefully. He would hate to be like, well, actually, the best lineup we had, that guys
first
we
game
threw together in week 1, that we know getting back to this point.
Very nicely played in the mid lane as well by Pobelter. For being as aggressive as he is, he kind of didn't try to undertake anything by himself. It was a safe play, waited for shorter race. They did it when they knew they had the engagement and could get out safely. And that's what happened every time. Unfortunately for Gravity, there are 2 times where they tried to gank in the early game. People got away with maybe 50 HP. An unfortunate situation that if it went their way, it would have been a much different game.
There were definitely a few things in the early game for Winterfox that really just tipped in their favor.
Yeah.
Some incredibly close turret dives and very daring escapes afterwards. But once they got that little bit going, it's just a whitewash after that. They just completely took control of the game.
Definitely hard to find Winterfox in one place as well. We saw the Scion pick not really being able to hit ults. It's not what cost in the game, but something in the top lane maybe would have helped a little bit better for the team fights that were continuously long. and just that was going to be all in favor of Alltech, the team kiting, the amount of control they had over the entire map. Great game by Winterfox. Definitely surprising. I'm sure a lot of people.
So one thing that you could potentially criticize Gravity's champion select on is the fact that I believe they picked the Azir earlier than the final pick.
Right, they final top lane.
Yeah, when they're red side, you generally want to keep your mid laner until last pick, and that's exactly what Winterfox planned. She said, okay, Azir in the mid lane, we need a mobile comp, we need good diving, we can't let Azir set up. Let's finish our composition this way. Fizz, dives,
right, because you got to finish with Fizz on the side.
Fizz Renekton were those last 2 picks on Winterfox's side, and it wrecked them. Completely destroyed Gravity.
Well, seems like the coach is definitely coming into play on that one. A good champion select. Just solid in general. We've seen teams you'd be like, that's a pretty good champion select, and they won. But the champion selects, the games that are winning, people are saying the coach had a really good effect on that champion select. It was solid.
Well, that's the strangest thing right here, because for Winterfox, their Korean coach wasn't even there. It was their owner who was talking to them during pick ban, and it honestly looked like he was just telling them, like, using the mouse for some people. This team couldn't possibly be communicating perfectly. Well, never mind. They're all playing in English this week. They don't have any of the Korean players, and not the Korean coach either. Just ridiculous that they're able to pull together such a good game.
Yeah, the first week of the NALCS, I think, has shown us that anything can happen. It always can, but with these new teams, they're bringing out all the stops. I'm glad we're getting the flavor that we're getting. Within the play styles, we see Winterfox coming up from the one dragon and just barreling into Gravity that one fight. It wasn't any dancing around, like I said. That's the kind of play style I wanted to see. That's a bit of what we saw in Europe, and I'm glad it's coming back to NA.
That seemed to be every fight, just one after another. As Winterfox saying, all right, we want to fight? We're going to do that thing then. And they press the Sivir ult, and they just go. That's the whole reason Sivir is such a contested pick right now. Obviously, because Sivir is pretty strong in the lane against Corki is one reason. Spell shield it. The Phosphorus Bomb doesn't get bullied like by Corki like the other 80 carries do. And it's mainly, though, the team fight control. And we really saw it this game.
So how would you consider this game for Gravity? What do they take out of this? Obviously, that was subs. It's not something they had been training or playing against.
Yeah.
So they weren't ready for maybe a little predictability they knew from the old roster. What do they take out of this?
A lot of disappointment right now for Gravity. Constructively, you want to try and take away some different pick and ban strategies, but that's what everyone says after game. Be like, well, they should have changed their pick and ban. Hindsight is always 20/20 in those cases. Here, I think a little bit more aggression from their bottom lane. Alltech was allowed far too much freedom this game, and a little bit less pressing and reactive play in the early game, and more proactive play is the things they need to do. St. Vicious was trying to chase around Rengar instead of just ganking early on Lee Sin. Rengar got the better of Saint in the early game, and that just generally shouldn't happen. He needs to take a little bit more initiative on his jungler there. But yeah, they have to find a way of getting over the disappointment of losing to a sub-team.
That's right.
Because that
All
hurts.
It does. Hurt just a little bit. We'll see. They have another game against them. They can get that revenge, but only one more, as it's 2 games per teams this season. We're going to send it over to Dash for a word with our winners.
Thank you, Riv. I want to welcome Shorter Race and Pobelter from Winterfox to the desk after a pretty decisive victory there against Gravity. Pobelter, I want to go to you first. You guys had to bring in a few subs, one of which is Shorter Race. What was that like in terms of having, very little time to prepare and strategize for this game?
It was all really rushed. Our owner, Brian Cordry, had some subs on the roster, so we had Flares and Short Race. And I have no idea what these players were like before ever playing with them, and our first scrims were 2 days ago. But, it worked out really well. They both played really well. And so I think they should be really happy about how they played.
And Shorter Race, I got to speak to you at the LCS expansion tournament where you narrowly missed qualifying yourself to the LCS, but now you've had your opportunity. You're on the LCS stage. How does that feel?
It feels great. I'm just so happy to be here.
And so, as Pobelter said, he didn't really know too much about your play style as a sub on the roster. Did you feel the same way going in, that you guys really had to kind of beef up your synergy within such a short amount of time?
Honestly, though, he's just really easy to play with. His level of communication is really easy for me to follow, and we did well together, in a few days.
on the topic of communication, Pobelter, I want to jump back over to you. With Helios on the team, I know the two of you probably bounce back and forth the most in terms of the shot calling, but he was out this week, so did you have to kind of take the brunt of the work there, or was that passed on to somebody else?
I feel like I did not talk that much that game. I think it was mainly Altec and Glebe deciding what to do around the map, but I think most of the movements we made were pretty basic, so I don't think there was anything like really difficult required.
Altec and Glebe, there had to be a little bit of comfort knowing that those two were an old duo from back in the day on Cloud9 Tempest, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to go into the picks and bans a little bit. We saw Renekton come out in the top lane. We saw Rengar, Annie, Fizz. You guys were looking to dive with that with the Sivir ultimate and just go. Was that in reaction to what you were seeing set up in terms of Janna, Azir setting up kind of that disengage poke comp?
It was just, well, we got the Sivir early on, and so we just worked around picks that we thought would fit well with it. So the Renekton hasn't been seen that much lately, but we just needed something beefy up front to sort of like take in damage as we all rush into them. And so that's just kind of how it ended up, that we had a divey sort of team comp, and they had a sort of disengaged team comp.
And Shorter Race, I want to, specifically the early game, I saw what seemed to be very calculated, so I want to know if this was the plan from level 1, in which you and Annie were double jungling in the tops, or well, I guess in the blue side jungle of Gravity, and then you made that roam to the mid lane to blow the early flash on Azir. Was that something that you guys had said from the get-go, or was that more opportunistic? You just noticed he was pushed up and let's capitalize on that?
We kind of just did that because like it was a really good opportunity because they lane swapped, and we were just walking around their jungle, and he was really pushed up, so it was kind of easier. And
then I imagined you guys came back, you capitalized on that within the next couple minutes. That started that Fizz snowball. You were 1 kill up, pretty sizable amount of CS at that point. Does that give you the confidence, Pobelter, to say, I'm going to run over this game now? I'm okay with being this dive, comp and going, 2 turrets deep to get the kills?
Yeah, even like that early on, getting 1 kill, and then that's just like such a huge, I don't know what to say, like a huge lead. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to lose at that point because you're up 1 kill. I was running MR rune, so Azir was weaker against me, and I was continually freezing the lane. So Azir had to play really cautiously. He couldn't do anything but like clear the wave and then run away because he was going to get ganked again.
Well, you say it's not hard to lose, but we've actually seen 2 teams today that were up in objectives in terms of Dragons and Barons that were really doing a great job of controlling those 2 objectives, but then didn't manage to secure the victory. You guys, though, seem to have broken that trend. You managed to get 4 Dragons, a Baron on top of that. You also had the gold lead. So what do you feel like, Shorter Race, that you guys did differently from the previous teams that we've seen collapse after having those leads?
We just took a lot of vision control. Me and Glebe would always roam together. We got a lot of vision in their jungle and made decisions off that. Like, if they made a mistake going to a different lane, we could just go to the other side, and yeah.
Well, you definitely had the mobility, to out-rotate and things like that. Pobelter, I do want to jump into a replay. We're going to go 17.5 minutes in. It's in the bot lane. It's a pretty chaotic fight where Glebe kind of seems to be going crazy for a moment, getting a pick on Corki all by himself.
I'm going to have to look over there because my screen is like...
Oh, that's no worries. That's fine. As long as you can still see it, though, yeah?
Yeah.
So I want you to talk me through this because it seems like you guys salvage what looks to be not a great play into something pretty fantastic.
Uh-huh. So it looks bad. It looks bad. A few of our dudes die. I'm not entirely sure what's happening right here, but I know that I come in at the end and clean up the kills.
Well, you call for the TP. Is that something then, Shorter Race, that you guys were yelling, screaming down here for the TP?
Yeah, I remember hearing flares. We're just shouting TP.
TP, TP, TP,
yeah,
TP.
Our TP came in first, and then we're still like pretty ahead at this point, and after this, it's just a really huge lead.
Right.
I kind of messed up there by trying to go for the Corki, but
that's what I mean, where you had the confidence to go that deep, where you're now, at the inner turret by yourself while the rest of the team's dealing with Azir and things like that. So do you find that the freedom to do things like that kind of took some of the pressure off of, playing in a scenario that you're not the most comfortable in? You're playing with this, patchwork roster?
Yeah, I think everyone is just playing confidently, aggressively. We had a lot of moments where we were over-aggressive, and then we'd like Sivir ult or Rengar ult, and nothing would come of it, or we'd like flash Annie ult and nothing would come of it. But I think the important thing is that we're going for these opportunities instead of thinking, oh, maybe we can't do this, and doubting ourselves and not going for it at all.
All right, I do want to jump into a second replay in shorter race. I'm going to have you walk us through this one. This is 25 minutes into the game. We're going to pull it up on your screen right now. This ends up being a 4-for-1 mid. You guys have just taken the Dragon. And Jat on stream described this as a YOLO play because you come barreling in from the side here. So kind of walk me through again with the speed that you guys have and the catch potential this fight.
Well, our entire comp, we just wanted to go on Keen because he's playing Azir and that champ was really annoying. So we literally just call to go on Azir, he gets out, so we go on Bunny, we take out the rest of them because they're all zoned out. It's 45 for us. And yeah, we just kind of just clean it up and we get a lot of kills.
This is kind of a pretty chaotic fight, too. I mean, do you guys feel like you had top-notch communication in this fight, or were you just relying on instinct at that point of like, all right, we're all over the map, but I'm going to trust that Pobelter mechanically is on point, and Glebe's doing his doing the right thing over here?
Honestly, I was just yelling, kill him, so nothing really.
He's bloodthirsty. Kill who? Kill him, get him. How much practice would you guys say you did have, Pobelter?
We had 2 days of scrims. We had, I want to say, like 8 hours total, maybe. 8
wow.
or 10.
Yeah.
I mean, that has to be a huge boon to confidence too going into tomorrow's matchup. And I kind of want to parlay the question here into you're going to be playing Coast tomorrow, which has to feel good because you guys you're familiar. Shorter race. Exactly. You and Glebe, right? Some of your subs are actually very familiar with the players that you guys happen to be matched up against this week. So that's got to feel good. Along with the win here, are you guys confident that tomorrow is your game?
Yeah, I expected Gravity to be the tougher matchup coming into this weekend, but actually Coast gave Dignitas a run for their money, so it might actually be the other way around. But I'm pretty confident going into the matches, and I know Ryan wants to avenge himself because his team got knocked out by Coast in the expansion tournament.
Yeah, looking for blood, shorter race?
I'm looking for blood.
I like it. Kill him. Kill him, right?
Kill him.
We'll be hopefully listening to the comms tomorrow, or maybe we got some clips from that game too we can pull up with the screaming. Well, I want to congratulate you guys on your victory. It was outstanding and very fun to watch. Coming up after the break, though, Team Impulse will look to make a name for themselves when they take on Team Liquid, so don't go anywhere. Congratulations.
This season, we've already seen some great plays today, and we're only gonna see more. And they still turned it around here with Saint, though. One last hit. Oh my gosh, they're picking up kills here with slivers of health, and Pobelter's about to have a heyday. Glebe went way too far. The rest of the team want Ultec coming out huge on this one, as well as Glebe. They focus down. Sundisk goes down to the turret. Glebe tries to flash in with the Tibbers ultimate, finally gets it down there, and it is just such a back and forth ping pong fight. That's in the eyes of Winterfox. One final fight to bring them to their knees, and Gravity is now running for the fountain. Winterfox is on the Nexus. They're gonna find their first win in the spring split here in North America.